Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Dangerous Family Members. Dangerous family members. Don't ignore the warning signs. We don't think of family members or family friends as ever being dangerous. If they haven't done anything or said anything, you don't typically think of your loved ones as being dangerous. But can I tell you that many of the crimes that take place in our society that happen to victims are occurring not by people who they don't know or who have never encountered, but these are people who they did know or had some type of encounter with. Most of these people who are in their graves as we speak, who were murdered, knew who the people were who took them off the face of this planet. This is why I repeatedly tell folks to stop being so caught up in titles. Stop being the one who's talking about my family, my ride or die. These people are so good. They're so wonderful. They could never do this or never do that. Stop being that person who is so trusting of your family. There are those signs. There are those overt as well as covert signs that the Lord Himself shows us using people, places, things, signs, wonders, folks showing up that are not family members, but they can see that you got some troubled relatives. But you see, we get so accustomed to people, we grew up with people, that we assume that it's okay. Their dysfunction, it's all right. We dismiss the writing on the wall. What are some of the signs we need to pay attention to? First and foremost is if they're threatening physical violence on someone else, it's only a matter of time when they're going to threaten physical violence on you or somebody close to you. Okay? So don't be that one that assumes that I'm good with this person. They would never hurt me. Think again, many a favorite ended up being physically and or emotionally abused by that so-called loving, sweet, wonderful, kind uncle, aunt, cousin, grandmother, aunt, or I already said that. How about mother, stepmother, stepfather? Okay. Another sign you want to pay attention to is when they have repeated falling outs with all sorts of members of the family. Whether it is the favorite or not the favorite, but they are always getting into some type of argument with someone in the family. Stop dismissing, that's just how she is. Or I've been in this family for 10, 15, 20 plus years. She would never cut you. I mean, I'm sorry that she threatened to cut you, but she wouldn't do that. You don't know what that person will eventually do. So stop thinking that person would never. We got some folks who they'll say, for instance, that their dog would never bite anyone. Their dog would never do this and that. Stop saying never, okay? Because a lot of times people get proven wrong. They get proven wrong, and then they're the first one saying, I'm so shocked. I just can't believe that. Well, believe it, okay? People snap. Like animals, people snap. They get stressed. There's a lot of pressure. The aging process takes place with them. Their medicines that they're taking have side effects. The drugs and alcohol do a number on them. They try something new. Stop saying what somebody would never do. Okay? I don't care how long they've been in the family. I don't care how long you've known them. Okay? Another thing that people will do when it comes to these dangerous people in the family who you may not know yet are dangerous is they will believe that the person would never harm them. They have this sense of believing that because it didn't happen to them, therefore it would never happen. but the person has a track record. Okay? So we're not to ignore people who have track records of being physically as well as emotionally abusive. Stop ignoring. I guess that's my main point. Stop ignoring. Stop ignoring the signs that this person is dangerous. Okay? Maybe not to you, maybe not to your children, but in time. Another thing is that people like this will lie, repeatedly lie about any number of things. Well, you'll say, well, how is lying a sign? Lying is always a sign that something else is going on in that person's mind. Okay? There's a personality disorder or there is some type of mental challenge that's going on when a person's always lying about their deeds, good, bad, or otherwise. Why do they feel the need to lie? Okay? In time, these are the same people that will lie to cover up their actions. Okay? They'll lie about the body. They'll lie about where the body is. They'll lie about what they did with the belongings of the person who they assaulted or killed. Okay? So stop thinking that, well, it's just a lie or we all lie and you dismiss the writing on the wall. Just stop it. Another thing is that they have an act that they put on, an act that appears as if they are good people. Many of them put on this act with select family members, select friends, but others have seen the dark side. So when those family members tell you there is another side to this person, you don't know him as well as you think, or you don't know her as well as you think, believe it, believe it, believe it. There's a dark side. The person, another sign, the person has some type of addiction, whether it's alcohol, whether it's a sex addiction, whether it is a drug addiction. There is some type of addiction. There's a obsessive compulsive disorder of some sort. Okay? These things can lead to bigger things. They may have even said something crazy while they were under the influence, while they were fantasizing, while they were under some type of trance. It doesn't take much to trigger someone, to make them snap, to get them to think about something that happened to them that was traumatic. And the next thing you know, they're ready to kill everybody in the house. Okay? Another thing you need to pay attention to is the type of people that they are connected to. These are the types of people that they have done some dirt with. And these people are willing to do anything to keep their favorite close to them. Okay? So that one that you suspect is dangerous may have some other people that is just as dangerous or worse, and don't mind calling them up to do their dirty work. This could be the boyfriend, this could be the girlfriend, this could be the boys from back in the day that they hung out at the bar with. Okay? These could be people who they're connected to because of all of the things that they did. These people could work in law enforcement. These people could work as attorneys, but they got some type of connections to some dangerous people. And when they say, I would never hurt you or I would never do, you just haven't done anything to trigger them yet. And then once they're triggered, all of what they said, those lies that they would never, they will. Okay? Some of you all, you're not even going to do anything to upset these folks because, number one, you're not around them. Number two, they're not bothered with you because there's nothing that you're giving them or you're not connecting to them in any kind of way. So as far as they're concerned, they don't have no type of dealings with you. But the family members who deal with them on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, if they say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, 9 times out of 10, they've already been threatened. They've already been told, if you try that, you know what, again, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to kill you. I'll take your baby out. I'll kill your pet. Don't play with me. These types of individuals, okay? Some of the things that we know about the dangerous family members or friends is that they did act abusive toward other family members. Whether it was verbally or physically, they did it. We know that they, in some cases, have been to jail, been out, been back to jail, been out, and been back to jail again, and then out again. Okay? We know that some of them have their share of responsibilities, and they may have even vented about those responsibilities. And for some of them, there's a buildup of sorts where they're very angry and they want to pay people back because they didn't want to be held accountable, or they didn't want to handle certain things. And so they've been talking vengefully. Okay? There may have been some bad news that they received, and they didn't take too well to that bad news. And so they've been obsessing practically over the bad news that was given to them, the people that are involved. They've been saying some bizarre things. You have to alert those individuals who they are after, or they plan on doing something to. Okay? There's the cursing, there's the name calling, there's the types of things that they say that you're saying to yourself, I hope he never puts his hands on my sister or on my brother or my cousin or whoever, but I don't like what's coming out of his mouth. We need to get the police involved, or we need to move her away from that situation, or we need to change some names, or we need to do something to keep this fool away from her or from him. Okay? Dangerous family members will show up unannounced. Okay? Some of them will conduct themselves accordingly at the family function, very respectful, very peaceful, very kind, because there's plenty of people around. Then they get away from the family event. They get to talking among other family members. Now they're making excuses to come back into the setting. Okay, if you know this person did not take too kindly to the news that you gave them, there's no reason why you should be reopening up that door again. Okay, there's no reason why you should be meeting that person in their household. Okay, let's say that it was a family function and there was some bad news that was given. Everybody seemed to be okay, but there was that one who's freaking out, and people are calming that person down. The person leaves, but then later on they want to come back and talk. I remember there was a person who I was engaged to many years ago, and he always wanted to talk. And usually his talk ended up him putting his hands on me in a violent way. Okay? Because he didn't like what I said, or he didn't appreciate my comment, or he didn't want to hear whatever it was that I was saying that was going to impact him. Okay? So don't sleep on what is happening. Somebody is not responding well to what you have told them. There's no reason why they need to come back into your setting. There's no reason why they need to show up at your workplace. They shouldn't be going back in the household talking about, using the excuse, this is a popular one, oh, I left something. You bring that item out to the car, out to the truck. You know, you carry that item somewhere in the public. Meet me at the McDonald's, or meet me over there at the drugstore. I mean, something along those lines. But whatever you do, don't be by yourself with someone who you know is acting a bit odd, a bit strange about whatever the information was that you gave them. People who know that somebody is very angry about, let's say, a wedding announcement, a baby announcement, a relocation. Let's see what else. You know that they're upset about an engagement or something. It could be the woman, the matriarch of the family, right? It could be the husband of somebody who he doesn't want his baby girl to be going off marrying someone, but they've exhibited these signs that are so just disturbing. It is safe to say that that person is not taking the information too well. So you alert the person who made the announcement that mom, dad, aunt, cousin, uncle, whoever, sister, brother is acting very mean-spirited about what just took place. They're not happy for you. I don't suggest that you go and have a conversation about it, but I'm just alerting you so that you're not inviting this person over to your house, or you're not taking food from them, or you're not, opening up your doors, or you're not going over where they are. Okay? Some people, they're just not wrapped too tight in their minds, and they do disturbing things. I want to keep some people safe, and that's why I'm sharing this information. I've also come across my share of individuals, unfortunately, who fell for the traps that these dangerous people set. Whether they made food for them, and then the next thing you know, somebody's got a stomach ache, whether somebody opened up the door and then they ended up being unfortunately killed, whether they got in a car and then suddenly somebody is being physically assaulted, whether they ended up over at somebody's house and they're supposed to be talking and it turns into something else. I want some people to stop being so gullible, so naive, and assuming that everybody who's a family member or friend is good with you and that you've never said anything or did anything to upset them. Women fall for this foolishness a lot when they're coming out of an abusive relationship. The man says, I need to talk to you. And she says, okay. And the next thing you know, she's in the car and something bad happens. Or, I just want you to just come over here and pick up your things. When you plan on picking up your things, that's always a lure. Some favorite item. Next thing you know, the person drives over there to the house. They're supposed to be picking up something. And the only thing they pick up is, another fight, or they're, raped, or they end up picking up an STD because the man's been cheating or the woman's been creeping. There's always some kind of lure to get somebody to go back, to get somebody to stay with, to get somebody to just do whatever it is that the controlling, abusive person wants. And that person who's the victim, who says that, but that's my mother, that's my father, that's my grandmother, I'll be right back, and they're not back. Or they would never, and they end up doing something. I would never dream of my mother or my cousin or my, sister or brother, but they do. Or my mother's boyfriend. We're tight. Or, my father's girlfriend. I guess we're cool. But then you get caught up in something. And now they done framed you, or they done, said that you hurt them, or you stole from them, or whatever. It was all a trap, because they're just that angry at whoever, in the family. They will use other people. They will hurt other people. Some people are obsessed with revenge. They don't know God like some of you all know God. They don't trust in God. Okay? And so as a result of that, they don't mind going out here and paying people back for being disrespectful, or paying people back for not doing what they wanted, or paying people back because they don't like who they're connected to, or they don't like the fact that they're moving on with their life. There's so many controlling people out here. There's so many people who are having all sorts of personality disorders and obsessive compulsive disorders, right? They've got a lot going on with them. And when you see that somebody in your family is troubled, you are not to assume that they're not going to hurt you or hurt your children or your children's children. Okay, you don't assume things. Okay, you listen to the quiet voice within, also known as God. You get away from people like this. You are not to make friends with an angry man or with an angry woman. Bible warns us of this. The Bible tells us about children of darkness. Children of darkness are being moved. They're being influenced by satanic opposition. These entities oppose God. They oppose the people of God. There are spirits at work that move on men and move on women to do the most despicable acts. And yes, these people can be the ones that you know. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. If you feel so moved to give, you are welcome to do so. Blessings to you. Be safe.